Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.
Good evening, and welcome along to Robin Elliott Tonight. Good to have your company once again. Now, coming up on the show this evening, I'll be chatting to a 1980s icon. Calm yourself, Kim Galley, because Matt Goss from Bros is going to be chatting to us live from Las Vegas a little bit later on. We'll also find out about Richard Clement's one-man show, How to Bury a Dead Mule. It heads to the Edinburgh Festival in August, and Richard will be here with all the details about that show. As well as that, Rachel Kennedy will tell us about this year's East Side Arts Festival, and we got some music from Derek Ryan as well coming up on the show. This week's big talking points, what are we talking about? Taylor Swift tickets.
£743 for the Karma Is My Boyfriend package.
Now, what do you get for that? A night out with Taylor Swift,
no,
back to her
you get
hotel
to, like, meet her
room
for
after
5 minutes.
What?
I think, it's so expensive. When did gigs become so dear? I was talking to my friend about this the other day. Back in our day, like, we're not that old, gigs were like £7, £9, £11, and then they sort of went up over the years to about 25.
Who was the first gig that you ever went to see?
The Stone Roses.
Really?
I was so cool. Actually, I wasn't really. I was anything but cool. But
I heard about this on the radio the other day
Yes,
as well, because you got yourself into trouble at that Stone Roses
did.
gig, didn't you?
It was the night before my GCSE Latin exam, whenever I knew it was happening. So I did what every good teenager does. I went to hell with it, and I just bought that ticket. And I got in my mother's Fiat Punto, got my sister to drive from Portrush to Belfast during the Troubles. What could possibly have gone wrong? And we drove up to the Stone Roses. It was amazing. Well, to be fair, I didn't actually know much of their music, but it didn't matter, because I walked in that door and it was cool had arrived.
Have you ever met him?
No.
I have.
Have you?
Yes.
The Stone Roses?
Yeah.
Do they have anything to say?
What do you call him? What do you call him? No,
Bez?
he's Happy Mondays.
Is he?
Yes, isn't it Happy Mondays? What do you call the guy from
the
the
little
Stone
dancey
Roses?
guy, the guy that dances. Oh, Ian Brown.
Ian Brown.
You'd think I've been a big fan. Like,
Ian Brown, exactly.
Did he have
They're useless behind the camera. Useless over there.
I know, they wouldn't even shout out an answer.
Oh, no, they didn't do that. No, that's crazy. Anyway, so back to Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Crazy ticket prices.
It's ridiculous.
If you want to go for a night out in Dublin, you're going to have to book a hotel room.
Well, there's no point.
And what's the hotel's going to do?
Cancel you. This is so bad. Loads of very clever mummies, not me, because I would never think of doing this. Whenever they heard the dates, they very cleverly went on and they booked hotels in advance. Now, they were paying things like €260, €290, $300. Like, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah.
What did the hotel do? Oh, they emailed them on the Monday and some guff about a third-party booking platform and how their thing was cancelled. Well, basically, the long shot is that they have nowhere to stay.
Exactly.
So they've now spent, £700 on tickets. And they're going to have to drive from Cork and Portstewart to Dublin.
Crazy.
It is absolutely outrageous.
Crazy.
Let's lead a protest. I don't know what to do about that.
Continuing with music memories, you were a Brossette back in the day, weren't you?
I was. I loved them. I liked Matt rather than Luke.
Yeah, well, we got Matt.
Yeah, he was so good looking. Well, I'm sure he still is, but he was just quite the guy, wasn't he?
And did you have the DM boots? Did you have the little...
With the little Grolsch
yes,
things?
Yes,
I had that and the little bomber jacket, and yes.
And your jeans and everything,
I did actually go to their house and stand outside it once in London, I know. Again, my mother didn't know what I was doing. I had this secret double life when I was a child. It was great.
There you go.
They were just so cool.
Right. Well, do you want to meet Matt Goss?
Yes.
Stick around. He's on the show a little bit later on. Live from Vegas. Right, moving on from Taylor Swift and hotel rooms and all that. Hindus we're talking about
We're
now.
talking about more money. It seems to be this cost of living crisis. I read an article this week where one woman spent £5,000 on Hindus in 1 year.
How many hen do's did you go on?
She didn't go to that many. I think she went to like 5 or 6. They've become so expensive. Like, gone are the days whenever you just go down the pub with your new mother-in-law.
Yeah.
No, that is all gone. We are flying to Vegas. We're going to Croatia. We're doing cocktail making and, paintballing and whatever else people do on hen do's. And then you've got to pay for the bride as well.
Yeah.
There's so many that I've just said no to, because this like group, you can see that you're being put into a WhatsApp group. You're like, oh no, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's like, Debbie's hen do, and you're like, oh no. And you just know it's going to cost £1,000.
Exactly.
This
Crazy.
needs to stop.
This
wasting of money.
Did you have a hen do?
I've been married
Any
twice.
times?
So the first time I did have a hen do, but I think it was in Kelly's in Portrush, and it was very low key, just like a table, and we had dinner, and then went in and boogied. The second time, I didn't, because I was pregnant. It was a shotgun wedding. But my mum does know about that. That's good. So she does. Yeah, she did know that I was pregnant when I got married.
So. I never had a stag do.
Let's have one.
Let's just throw one, just for the fun of it.
Let's throw one.
I've got to talk to you about that, actually.
Oh.
So I have, but we're live on telly at the minute, so we'll move on from hen do's.
Absolutely.
I just remembered something there.
I'm intrigued.
Be intrigued. We'll tell you about it next week or the week after. Let's talk carrots next.
Carrots, yes, this is the latest TikTok trend. As you know, like most people, I don't do anything useful with my time. I like to just scroll TikTok, thinking about things that I might do and never will. So I am at the pulse of all these trends. So TikTokers, what are they doing? They're eating carrots to get a tan. So they're all these children.
Hang on, who told you you need to tell us if you eat carrots, you'll see in the dark? Okay.
Now curly hair, or is that crust? No, that's
That's
crust.
your crusts, yes.
No, well,
now you eat carrots and you get a tan.
Well, kind of, right. If you eat a lot of fruit or vegetable that has beta-carotene in it, you will develop a thing called carotenemia. I think that's how it's pronounced. And it makes you orange, because the same thing that makes a carrot orange will make you orange. So it makes the soles and your soles, your feet, and your palms, your hands orange.
Right.
So you've got all these TikTokers on, God love them, they're like 19, they're like, oh, look at me, I'm so tan. You're like, you're orange. So this is an actual thing. They're eating 4 carrots a day, and they're actually on like munching these carrots and showing off their tans. I think the world's gone mad. Is it just me?
The world has gone crazy.
So carotenemia is flourishing across the world.
If you don't want an orange tan, the ad breaks are on the way in a second with how not to have an orange tan. Finishing off with Barbie.
Yes, Barbie.
The movie's out this weekend.
Yes, so were you a fan of Barbie growing up?
Not really, no.
Well, I kind of was, and I've been on a lot of talk shows this week, and people are trying to press me on this. Is Barbie a feminist icon? I'm like, no, she's a plastic doll. But they obviously want me to say something very clever.
Yeah.
But I think that's putting too much weight on Barbie's very tiny shoulders, because she can hardly stand up because she's not the right proportions.
Exactly,
so
yes.
I don't think we should put this on Barbie.
But she's a good businesswoman, you have to give her that.
Yes.
Isn't she?
Yes, she is. And she's kind of iconic the way, she used to just be pretty, but now it's not enough to be pretty.
Yes,
so now she's a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a show jumper, and she rides about in her camper van, ignoring Ken. So, she's an icon in a way. Whether or not she's a feminist icon, she's certainly, do you look up to Barbie? Possibly not, but I think it's great the way she's become very inclusive. We have dolls of colour, we have dolls in wheelchair, and my favourite recently, I have lots of friends who have children with Down syndrome, and there's a Down syndrome Barbie who's adorable, and all the little girls love it. They're like, oh, it looks just like me, and that's lovely.
That's lovely.
That's a lovely thing.
That's lovely.
So I guess, we're putting a lot on Barbie here. Leave Barbie alone, let her just be a bit silly.
Well, everybody's become obsessed with her this weekend because the movie's out, and everybody has got their photograph taken in these Barbie boxes.
Yes.
And we actually have 2 brand new Ken dolls. The first one, which is appearing on your screens right now, look at that handsome chap. That's the Robin doll.
I love it.
The middle-aged Ken, which comes...
Middle-aged?
Middle-aged Ken,
in your
that's
prime?
him. Yes.
What are you talking about?
Thank you for that. But this is middle-aged Robin Ken doll, who comes with his very own 6-pack as well. He comes with type 2 diabetes and all the rest of the stuff that goes through with men of a certain age as well. Moving on to our next Barbie friend, we've got the Frank doll.
The Frank Mitchell Ken doll. He actually looks like a Ken doll. I told him that on radio the other day, but it kind of came out like an insult, and he didn't really take it. I meant, oh, you're a lovely guy, and you look like it just didn't come out very well, and he was a little bit insulted.
So you can have your own Frank doll that tells you the weather every morning as well.
And he knows every place name in Northern Ireland.
Exactly.
He's very good at geography.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. I like that in a man.
Are you going to see the movie?
I am, yes. I
Really?
am. It looks terrific. It really does look like a lot of fun. I think Barbie's in on the joke here. And I think we're going to see a little bit more of Ken because over the years, we haven't really seen Ken. You know what I like about Barbie? Ken's nothing but a sidekick, the way it should be.
Okay. Let's take a look at a clip from the new Barbie movie. It's out this weekend. Kim Kelly, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Barbie, can I come to your house tonight?
Sure. I don't have anything big planned, just a giant blowout party with all the Barbies and planned choreography and a bespoke song. You should stop by.
So cool.
You can find me under the lights, diamonds under my eyes.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever. So is yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now until forever. Do you guys ever think about dying?
When my heart breaks,
Some things have been happening that might be related.
when my world shakes.
Cold shower, falling off my roof, and my heels are on the ground.
Northern Ireland Screen are on the lookout for new storytellers, and they've just introduced a new development scheme called Creative Industries New Entrants, a teaching, learning, mentorship and support programme created to broaden access to the creative industries at entry level. Funded by the Department for Communities and working in partnership with BBC Northern Ireland and Northern Ireland Screen, the scheme is helping to identify new talent to support them into the screen and creative industries. Now here at NVTV, we've been working with a group of participants from Cine over the past couple of weeks, and here's a little feature that they recorded with singer-songwriter Jackie Rainey.
My name is Jackie Rainey. I am a musician. I play cover gigs around Belfast and beyond. I also write my own music. I grew up in a village called Ballygally, outside of Larne, and then I moved to Belfast when I was about 20, and I joined a few bands from that. I learnt guitar in primary school, and from that then I was always messing about with chords, and that's how I got into then just making up my own songs and doing that over the years, and I really enjoyed doing it. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll record a couple of songs, and I slowly started just writing. I used to go out to Nashville a lot. I went to Nashville when I was 21 the first time, and that started a whole run of about 10 years of going forward and back to co-write with different writers. I found it a really creative, inspiring community, and I loved it, and that's why I kept going back. My experience with Sinead O'Connor was amazing. She was brilliant, really kind to me. I couldn't ask for anything better. I think she's been extremely misrepresented in the press, and I think that's coming out slowly now. But the guy that runs the class showed me this. I loved making my own guitar. It was the only other experience I've had when you lose track of time, like in music. Working with the wood, you just get so involved in it. Music is my life, and it's always been there. It's a release of emotion. It lets me express things that I find very hard to express otherwise. I often find when I write a song, something will come out that I don't realise has been bothering me or is the way I feel. So I'm like, oh, I can finish it, and that's how I feel. Oh, right, okay, I didn't realise that.
Caught on the back step, playing hard to catch up. Global information based on my location. Can't get an answer that satisfies me. Truth is hard to find. I don't know. Who could I believe? I wanna be the change I wanna see. Misinformation lies for centuries. I don't know who to believe. Part of the problem without even meaning. 40 years to learn some compassion and feelings. Trying to break out of the learned ways of being. Systems broken down. We're all disagreeing on who to believe. I wanna be the change I wanna see. Misinformation lies for centuries. I don't know who to believe. Well, we'll leave it to the next generation. Bears no resemblance to the world I grew up in. Decades evolving, nature is regressing. Can't get connected, take pills for depression. Disconnected people for food and feelings. All get on platforms, searching for true meaning. Look into the stillness, the source is divine. Pressure, skin running out of time. I don't know who to believe. I wanna be the change I wanna see. Misinformation lies for centuries. I don't know who to believe. I don't know who to believe.
Music, it's such a deeply moving personal experience, and yeah, it's the best thing ever for me.
And we'll have some more features from the cine participants on Robin Elliott Tonight over the next couple of weeks. Now we're talking theatre next, and a one-man show called How to Bury a Dead Mule. It's performed by Richard Clements, directed by Matthew McElhenney, and it's heading to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this August. We'll chat to both Richard and Matthew right after these.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight. YTP Aesthetic and Academy is a place where everyone will find something for themselves, from lip augmentation to a treatment for wrinkles or improving the condition of the skin. Interested in expanding your knowledge in the field of aesthetic medicine? We invite you to a wide range of courses. Book your appointment now with award-winning YTP Aesthetic and Academy, Lisburn Road, Belfast. You can call us on 07546 121 281 or visit ytpaesthetic.com.
Heading to the North Coast? The Jet Centre in Coleraine offers entertainment for everyone. There's an 8-screen movie house cinema with all the best movies, 10-pin bowling, a massive arcade, soft play for the wee ones. Outdoors, there's a mini fun park and gem mining, plus an 18-hole floodlit mini golf course. Rain or shine, there's something for everyone here at the Jet Centre. Find out more at thejetcentre.co.uk.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.
Pay attention. This is the scripture, the new word. Never have I felt closer to the answer. I'm looking for the moral hook. You know, there are those who are reluctant to find the answers, but I am not a victim. Everyone has their shadow side.
So there we go, the one-man show, How to Bury a Dead Mule, which is heading to the Edinburgh Festival in August. To tell us more about the show, I'm pleased to say that Richard Clements and director Matthew McElhenney join us in the studio. Guys, good to see you again. Thank you for joining us.
Lovely to be back.
Richard, you were here before telling us about the show,
Yes.
and since then, I mean, it's gone on to be nominated for awards. It's just growing all the time, isn't it?
We've been on this fantastic journey with it. Last time you and I spoke, we were just about to present it on the Lyric stage in Belfast. We had a fantastic week there. Off the back of that, we were then nominated for Best New Play at the UK Theatre Awards. And it was always kind of my intention, it was in the back of my mind when I was writing it. I'd been to the Edinburgh Fringe in 2014, had a fantastic time, and I promised myself that I would get back there with my own piece of work. So we're thrilled to say that we're heading Edinburgh bound start of August.
Brendan, of course, Matthew, I mean, the Edinburgh Festival, it's a fantastic event to go to every year, isn't it?
It's an incredible event, and this is where we envisaged it belonging, really.
Yeah.
So it was great to get it there. We're going with the Pleasance, which is one of the big venues at the Fringe, so we are right bang in the middle of the action. We're a great time slot, and yeah, it's just so many great shows, such an incredible atmosphere. So no, we're really looking forward to it.
And it's good to see Northern Ireland being represented. I think there's 7 shows going from here, isn't there?
7 shows, yes. There's we've got a little stable of ourselves, and then there's Scaredy Fat and
yes, the Half Moon,
the
another
Half
play
Moon,
as well.
yeah.
So the 3 of us are actually in the same venue. This venue called Jack Dome, which is in the Potterrow Students' Union, part of Bristol Square.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's always been great Northern Irish representation at the Fringe, and I think the lady who runs it, she's Northern Irish, isn't she?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So. No,
yes,
it's great to it's great to have there's so much talent here, to have it on that platform, and is fantastic.
Richard, remind us about the story then. It's a true story. I mean, it's all about your granddad, isn't it?
It tells the story. It cuts across 3 timelines. So my grandfather was a Royal Irish Fusilier. He fought frontline campaigns in North Africa, Sicily and Italy. Had a number of major lucky escapes during that time, and came back from the war severely impacted. That had a deep impact on my grandmother and the immediate family. And so it looks at him on the front line, it looks at him post-war, and the action starts. He passed away in 2011, my grandfather, I should say, in a care home on the site of the old Tonic Cinema in Bangor. I'm a Bangor boy myself. I remember going to the Tonic when I was a kid. And so the action takes place there. I sort of had this idea of him conjuring up the ghosts of the past as the old cinema comes to life. He welcomes in all his fallen comrades and says, "This is my time to tell my story." Yeah. So that's the best way of describing it.
You were actually in Italy recently as well, weren't you?
I had this absolutely incredible trip over there. My family came with me, and we made a bit of a pilgrimage out to a place in a mountainous area of central Italy called Monte Cavallo. Monte Cavallo plays a very significant part in my grandfather's journey. It was there on the 14th of November 1944. There was a unit of 6 of them, and they were walking through this area. Mines had been placed by the Germans. One of his colleagues stood on a mine. All of them were killed apart from my grandfather. He managed to crawl off with severe shrapnel wounds to his head and his leg. He carried a lump of shrapnel in his right leg for the rest of his days. He suffered hysterical blindness where he couldn't see for weeks, and a fractured leg which was then splinted temporarily in a medical hut. So I wanted to go there to pay my respects, and we took some flowers, we laid them at the entrance to Monte Cavallo, but as we got out of it, we parked up. It was like a ghost village, there was no one around. Very eerie atmosphere. It was raining that day, there was mist settling in the top of the mountains. And as we got out of the car, my son said, "Dad, there's a flower over there on the ground." And I turned around, and there was this one solitary red poppy growing out of stone at the foot of the mountain. I mean, you couldn't make this up, Robin.
The imagery's
And so we all just stood there in silence, couldn't believe it. It was like it was growing there for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a very, very special trip, one that he was never able to make himself. I think he made it to the beaches in France. My aunt took him, but he'd always expressed this desire to go back to Italy. In spite of what happened to him, he was very fond of his time in Italy. He'd learnt lots of phrases that he carried around with him for the rest of his days, and spoke very, very fondly of it. So it was lovely for me to be able to go back and
And how did you feel standing there? Did you get a bit emotional?
Incredibly emotional. I mean, more than anything else, I had in my mind an idea of what the terrain was like, you know. So as an actor, you know, when I was performing the scenes last year, I'd thought of the terrain as being drier, you know, more Mediterranean, but it wasn't. It was lush green vegetation, thick, so thick, I can't imagine what it must have been like cutting through it. And incredibly jagged rock as well, very, very inhospitable terrain. So it was incredibly emotional, but great to kind of add it to the pictures that we've been conjuring up on stage.
What about directing a show like this as well? Because there's so much harrowing information in it. There's so much to get through, isn't there?
There was an incredible freedom in directing this, actually, because Richard approached me with the script, and it was, whenever Richard wrote it, it was based on transcripts that Richard's mother had interviewed her father, so his grandfather, and she had all these recorded transcripts of his experiences. So Richard relied a lot on that for the stories of the war and what it was like out there, but then it was also interspersed with these episodes of the impact it had on him, and a very bizarre. Richard's grandfather suffered from what they called at the time environmental schizophrenia, so he had this. He was very severely mentally impacted by what happened to him. So you have these recounts of the war that are quite lucid, and then you have these mad episodes in between. And it was trying to draw a through line through that, and we settled upon what's the final thing he does. The final thing he does is apologise to his wife. So the idea being, after going through an experience like that, how do you reconnect with family? We settled upon this idea of family and his wife being represented by a beam of white light. So it was lovely to do, it almost sort of experimental, kind of avant-garde thing of, at one point we have him dancing, becoming with a chair. Another point we have him shadow puppet in a battlefield. Another point he's dancing with a beam of light. So it's quite sort of out there, wacky, bizarre. I remember when it first went on, I have no idea what people are going to make of this. And I didn't really care because it's so much fun doing. I thought, we've worked hard, we've done what we thought was interesting to us. We were doing it for what we thought would work, and so people did really respond really well to it. So
being around my grandfather, there was never a dull moment. You know,
Yeah.
there was always something interesting going on, and I do believe that we have created a piece of theatre that reflects that mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
How do you capture? How did you capture that kind of fractured mindset?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've tried to do, you know.
And for an actor playing that as well, I mean, you must have been going through a lot of emotions on stage every night as well.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, particularly in the early stages of putting the piece together, you know, because my mum and I, it was back in the dark days of lockdown, so I would stand on the doorstep and share stories with my mum about her. Getting over that hurdle of my mum reading the script for the first time was pretty big. Then last September when we did it in the Lyric, a lot of the extended family came down. Some of them actually are going to make the trip to Edinburgh as well to see it. What started for me, Robin, is a deeply personal story. I almost kind of feel like I've moved on beyond that now, and I'm excited to bring it to an international audience. I feel that it's a story with universal resonance, and I could take it anywhere in the world, and I think people could relate to it. I mean, particularly when we started last year in the rehearsal room, the conflict in Ukraine had kicked off. It was something that was very present in the room that we've spoken about a lot. You know, you look at Oscar winners last year with All Quiet on the Western Front, these issues are all too relevant, you know, and nothing has changed really in this area of post-traumatic stress and what that represents from back in the day when it was first spoken about to now. You know?
And it is theatre as a vehicle for social care as well. I mean, it has a social impact and a social importance. We had a veterans night when we did it the last time out, and we ran a panel after from the trauma department at Queen's University, and so we had all these experts in trauma, PTSD come down, and the audience was filled with veterans, and that was a really powerful night. I mean, a lot of them, I think it was catharsis for a lot of them. So that's what, you know, theatre and the arts can do.
I'd written the piece with my grandfather in mind, but then I thought, well, how are veterans going to respond to this? Maybe they'll look at it and feel that it isn't them represented. So it was lovely to kind of connect with them and realise that there was a shared bond in that story with them. But, you know, even beyond that, it's a great night out at the theatre, and a beautifully imaginative and beautifully directed piece by Matthew.
It's a wonderful story, and it's, you know, haunting, moving, and in the end, I think uplifting.
Great. You're on at the Edinburgh Festival between the 4th and the 27th of August. Before you go to Edinburgh, you're doing one night at the Courthouse in Antrim, aren't you?
27th, and I should say actually the Edinburgh dates are officially the 2nd to the 27th.
Okay.
So I'm going to add that in.
Yeah.
Just stick for those 2 extra dates.
Yeah. And anyone who can't get over to Edinburgh, 27th of July in the Antrim Courthouse.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, I'll definitely come along and join you for that night.
Brilliant.
Lovely to see you.
Good to see you and have a great time in Edinburgh.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, coming up next, we're heading to Las Vegas to chat to Matt Goss right after these.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment, and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.
Here we are on the North Coast, where sporting legends are made. He needs this putt to advance to the next stage, but can he do it? The crowd are holding their breath. Can he cope with the pressure?
Dad, would you take the shot?
Yes!
Well.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment, and positivity, I Am Beauty is more than just a beauty brand. We are a community that celebrates individuality and promotes self-love. Check out our I Am Unfiltered Tanning range. Luxury lime, mandarin and basil scent with green undertones to neutralise orange results. Your most natural tan yet. We invite you to join us in our mission to redefine beauty and create a more inclusive world. YTP Aesthetic and Academy is a place where everyone will find something for themselves, from lip augmentation to a treatment for wrinkles or improving the condition of the skin. Interested in expanding your knowledge in the field of aesthetic medicine? We invite you to a wide range of courses. Book your appointment now with award-winning YTP Aesthetic and Academy, Lisburn Road, Belfast. You can call us on 07546 121 281 or visit ytpaesthetic.com. Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment, and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.
I've been walking down Broadway, thinking about making new memories, and everything in me is falling into pavement cracks. This stranger's hand that I'm holding, I can't explain the connection. All I know, it feels like home. I can carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, but my heart has no protection. The silence that we're sharing feels like perfection. So if you listen, you can feel it. Feel my heartbeat in your hand. This joy feels good in such a cynical man. So raise a glass to the beautiful unknown. Prepared to undress your soul. We just met, we're old friends. That's how life is and how it should end. I don't mean no disrespect, but I did not hear one word you said. Sitting at the bar, looking in your eyes, your heart is in my head. If only you knew all the plans I've been making. I don't think you'd call me crazy, I'd kiss you right where you stand. The lights go on, it's not polite.
Outside this bar, it's getting bright. I'm gonna walk you home, but I don't wanna let you go. Courage from the Dutch, but not too much. Yeah, we shared some stories. I'm letting go of everything that hurt me before. Raise a glass to the beautiful unknown. Be prepared to undress your soul. We just met, we're old friends. That's how life is and how it should end. When something flows, it grows, it grows, it grows, yeah. So raise a glass to the beautiful.
So there we go, that's Matt Goss together with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and a track called The Beautiful Unknown. Now, Las Vegas has been named the UK's top bucket list location, and to talk more about this, I'm pleased to say we're joined on the line by a 1980s music icon from Bros. It's Matt Goss. How are you today?
How are you, sir? Nice to see you and hear you.
Good to see you as well. So we're talking Las Vegas on the show today, which is a destination that you know really well. You've performed in some fabulous venues out there, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Caesars Palace is the one that resonated with my heart, like Gary Slessner and, you know, Jason Gatsworth. These guys are like my family. You know, it was great to have a working relationship with people that we also became dear friends as well. So to go into that venue every day and just see all the people that worked at Caesars, and you know, when I left, there was a lot of tears, and you know, it was nice. I got my bum smacked more times that night than ever in my life, actually, because all the ballet parkers, and you know, we had a lot of high fives. And just they're my family.
Now, I've never been to Vegas, so if I was planning a trip today, what's the main things that you would recommend that I have to do when I get there?
The thing is with Vegas, it's so much more diverse than people think. People really just think it's the Strip, and don't get me wrong, the Strip is a force of nature. It's got everything you ever want, you know, with restaurants, the finest dining in the world. But in regards to technology and venues and sound, it's second to none. You know, it can really handle anything. That town can handle any performer, any show. And you've got an abundance of entertainment. But I will also say, off the Strip, you've got community, you have Red Rock Canyon, some of the best hiking on the planet, you know, awe-inspiring countryside and nature. And you've got the Hoover Dam, which is just down the road. It's a beautiful, just rent a car, put the top down and go to the Hoover Dam. It's, again, super awe-inspiring stuff that your eyes have to adjust to the sheer magnificence of what that structure is. And then if you want to go a bit more decadent, you can get a helicopter and land for a picnic, like I've done many times, in the Grand Canyon.
So Matt, you're keeping it really busy. We heard you perform with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra there. That must have been a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, to play one of my favorite venues in the world, the Royal Albert Hall, with the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra and my 15-piece big band, that was the majesty on stage, and that feeling when you're actually being hit in the back by that level of musicianship was nothing short of awe-inspiring. And I did 18 cities across the country, but being on stage again certainly made me miss my days in Las Vegas, you know, only a couple of years ago. So I am talking to another casino right as we speak about possibly doing a continuation of my residency. So I'm actually talking to the guys at LBCBA as well to find possibly the right property for that too.
Now, I was on your Instagram page earlier on, and I came across this great photograph of yourself together with Tina Turner and Levi Stubbs. I think this photograph was taken at the Royal Albert Hall. That must have been a great experience.
It was one of those pinch me moments. I'm singing with Tina Turner on my right and Levi Stubbs from Four Tops on my left. It was just, you know, it was a beautiful sandwich to be part of. And Again, I think I have a saying, where the voice takes you. The voice has taken me all over the place, including the White House, the lunch with Princess Diana, the Kansas City with the Rolling Stones, Tina Turner, as you say. Got amazing people like Sharon Stone coming to my show, Jason Statham, real iconic kind of, stars. And it's incredible what music does. And that's why, you can focus on hit records and DSP and streaming and all that, but when you're actually having real life moments as an entertainer, as I am, and as a singer, it's hard to pinpoint what really means more to you. And I think that I always come back to the experience. And my 11-year residency in Vegas is still one of the most proud moments of my life. It's right up there with currently being the youngest man in history to headline Wembley Stadium. So it's right there. I mean, it's like, I'm so proud. And that's why I was excited to speak about Vegas, because it's given me so much. And on a more personal level, when my mother passed away, I chose Vegas to give me healing and peace, and the community really wrapped themselves around me. And I'll always be grateful for Vegas. That's why I always wanted this to be part of my life. And I want to do more. And my philanthropic work there as well, I want that to continue. So it's just a really awesome place. It really is. And it's not what people think. It's so much more than that.
Now, you've also got a couple of movie projects coming soon. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, I'm doing a movie with the wonderful Joan Collins. It's called The Stalk Club, and that film's later in the year. I play a very dark and shady record exec, record producer. So I get to put all of my anger about this very, very interesting industry that I've been part of for 38 years onto screen. So it's something that I'm looking forward to dive into. And then another film called Cobbler Killer Stranger, where I play a complete psychopath. So I don't know what that says about my persona, that I'm being offered these new roles, but I'm looking forward to actually get good butterflies and have the nerves kick in my first day of filming.
Now, there's still a lot of love out there for the music from the 1980s, and lots of retro acts getting back together again. Will we ever see a Bros reunion again?
Well, we just did, a few years back, we just did the couple of nights at the O2, which was phenomenal. We had 44,000 people turn up for those 2 nights. And then me and my brother are not too keen on the nostalgic side of what we do. We are musicians. As obviously, I've been talking to you about who I am currently and where my journey through this industry. So I think where our love lies would be to get back on stage, record a new album, and possibly film that as a follow-up to the last documentary after the screaming stops.
Well, Matt, it's been great talking to you, and you've inspired me to go out and book a holiday to Vegas.
Go. And trust me, just dig a bit deeper, go-kart riding as well. That was one of my favorite things in Vegas. Go-kart riding as well.
Good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Much love to you and your listeners.
Thank you. So, still to come, we've got all the details on this year's East Side Arts Festival, and we've got some brand new music from Derek Ryan coming shortly as well, so keep it right here.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.
Let the good times roll at Super Strikes at the Jet Centre. You can now book your lane online. We've got 14 bowling lanes and 4 mini bowling lanes. Plus we serve delicious hot food and snacks, or enjoy a cold beverage with your food after the game. Discover bowling today at the Jet Centre. Jet Centre. Entertainment for everyone.
YTP Aesthetic and Academy is a place where everyone will find something for themselves, from lip augmentation to a treatment for wrinkles or improving the condition of the skin. Interested in expanding your knowledge in the field of aesthetic medicine? We invite you to a wide range of courses. Book your appointment now with award-winning YTP Aesthetic and Academy, Lisburn Road, Belfast. You can call us on 07546 121 281 or visit ytpaesthetic.com. Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment, and positivity, I Am Beauty is more than just a beauty brand. We are a community that celebrates individuality and promotes self-love. Check out our I Am Unfiltered Tanning range. Luxury lime, mandarin and basil scent with green undertones to neutralise orange results. Your most natural tan yet. We invite you to join us in our mission to redefine beauty and create a more inclusive world.
Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment and positivity, I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.
And welcome back to Robin Elliott Tonight. Now, this year's East Side Arts Festival runs between the 27th of July and the 6th of August. We'll talk to Rachel Kennedy in just a second after we take a look and see what happened at this year's launch. So let's find out what's happening at this year's East Side Arts Festival. It's good always to see Rachel Kennedy. How are you?
Hello, I'm really well, Robin.
So it's that time of year again.
I know. Rolls round fast, doesn't it?
It does. And the great thing about this year is lots of the events are really selling, and some have sold out already, haven't they?
Yep, it's really good to see. It's really exciting to think that people are excited for the festival, that they want to come across to the East and just kind of soak up the atmosphere, see some new things. And I suppose what we're talking about this year is how unique the festival events are, and we're trying to do something that is really special, very specific to East Belfast, and gives a real flavour of kind of the character and the culture of the east of the city.
So you've got everything from food and drink events to comedy to music to walking tours, everything, haven't you?
Yeah. So I guess what we again try to do is kind of open up that landscape of the east. So for some people it's going to be about coming down and maybe exploring one of the new spaces in the east like Banana Block or one of the breweries and going to an event there, or coming to C.S. Lewis Square for one of our opening weekend events like Eastside Electronics back again this year, featuring David Holmes this year, so of course tickets flying out, which is great. Or maybe, you know, just coming to one of the smaller events. We've got some lovely things happening in Templemore Baths, which has just gone through an entirely new renovation project, and we're really excited to be able to actually run events in that space. So there's kind of lots of opportunity to explore the different spaces in the East and indulge lots of different kind of tastes as well.
So let's start off with the opening night then. We're starting off with comedy, aren't we?
Yeah, so we don't often have comedy in the festival. It's tricky to compete with Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But we're really fortunate this year that we've got 3 of kind of Northern Ireland's biggest upcoming talents, and they've all got their own shows that are coming up in the Odyssey and places like that. So it's Kieran Bartlett's Comedy Night. Yeah. So it's going to be a really good night, and we're using Banana Block to host that venue. And again, that'll be kind of a new thing for us to do, and we're expecting a really good crowd for that, and I think it's going to be a really fun night.
Now, staying with the Banana Block, you've got the Orb playing live as well, haven't you?
Exactly. It's like reliving your your rave days of
Exactly,
your,
isn't it?
in my case, of my 20s. You know, it's very exciting. So if anybody doesn't know who the Orb is, you just need to think of the track Fluffy Little Clouds.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's great because they've got a new album out,
Yeah.
and we are their only Northern Irish venue on the current tour. So they're just coming to us, and they'll playing tracks from the new album, but we're hoping for a few of those classics as well.
Course,
So they're being supported by Explosion Sound Selectors, who are brilliant local DJs, and again, it'll be a great night.
And then when it comes to DJs, David Holmes is probably the biggest name we have here in Northern Ireland, isn't he?
And for me, it's a thrill because I've been running the festival for about 8 years now, and this is the first time that we've had David on the show. And it's brilliant to have somebody that has chosen to kind of live and work in East Belfast despite being kind of internationally acclaimed. And he will be performing in C.S. Lewis Square along with the Night Institute DJs, and that'll probably be one of our biggest nights of the festival. We're expecting maybe 1,000 people at that. So
Definitely. Now, staying with C.S. Lewis Square, some free events as well. You've gone to the Eastside Park Fest, haven't you?
So Park Fest is, again, a bit of an annual celebration. It's a lovely opportunity to demonstrate kind of the community aspect of what we do in East Belfast. Lots of free events and kind of events that have a creative bent to them will be in C.S. Lewis Square, and the theme is Carnival. So there will be lots of acts on the stage, as well as stalls and food and lots of activities for kids and families. And then our partners in the Colmswater Community Green, my team, they're running a similar event across in Orangefield Park. And again, loads and loads of free events that people can come along and enjoy. And those are kind of more in line with health and well-being and sports.
I see we've got a special event with Cherry on Top as well.
I'm excited about this event. It's in Titanic Hotel in Drawing Office 1, which is an absolutely stunning space. We haven't used that venue before, and we're really kind of delighted and very glad to be sponsored by Maritime Belfast, who are kind of gifting us use of that room for the day. Brilliant. So we've got 3 events there during the day, and that evening event is Life's a Bowl of Cherry with the wonderful Matthew Cavan, who of course is Cherry on Top, and he's putting together a unique show for us, a special show. Probably going to be singing lots of really...
If people haven't heard him before, he has the most amazing voice, doesn't he?
Not all drag artists sing, but Matt does, and they'll maybe know him from some of his recent shows in the Lyric, and he's an extraordinarily talented artist with a big voice. So we're really interested and excited to see what he's going to be putting together for us.
And let's talk about the East Side Food and Drink Tour as well. I know the first one sold out, so you put on a second one now, haven't you?
So the organisers of that event have kindly put on a second one for us, and again, it's a new event for us, and we're thinking, I suppose, about the fact that there are so many new places to eat and drink in East Belfast, and everybody loves a food tour.
Oh, definitely,
so it's a brilliant opportunity to maybe go to some new spaces, try out some new food, some new restaurants, bars that you haven't been to before, all under the wonderful guiding hand of the tour guides. So.
I must mention the lunch night as well. We had the most fabulous pies, didn't we?
So that was Terry from Hearty Growers, and they're based in Banana Block, and those pies were amazing. And he sells mushrooms kind of all day, every day, I think. So you can call in and buy some mushroom. I think you can buy mushroom plants and mushrooms from him, and then he pops up with the pies as well.
Okay, so moving on to another form of music and entertainment, hip hop this time.
I know, it's not an art form that I'm really familiar with, but we have 2 young programmers on the team this year, and one of them, Reese, has programmed an event which is called the Hip Hop House Party. So that's his art form. So it's going to be a night in the Short Sports and Recreation Club, which again is a new venue for us, and we'll also be having our Dragtastic Cabaret there. Wow. So it's a really beautiful venue, so I'm really excited to see how those events will work out this year. But the club is going to host those events, and for the Hip Hop House Party, it'll just be a night of really brilliant dance and music and DJing. So it's going to be one to watch out for.
Brilliant. Of course, there's other social clubs in East Belfast as well, and lots of those are going to be used this year too, aren't they? I think we've got something like 9 new venues as part of the festival this year, and social clubs are really important and make up a large part of that. So you'll know that the Vault Artist Studios down in Tower Street have closed now, but the Vault artists themselves kind of have a spiritual home in East Belfast.
And they've always been such a big part of the festival that we were really pleased whenever they suggested using a different venue and running a number of events. So they're doing a takeover of the Harland and Wolff Staff Club, which is an absolutely gorgeous club. So we've got use of 2 different spaces in there for larger events in the cabaret room and then smaller events in the piano bar. So there'll be quizzes and discos and cabaret and all sorts of stuff, a podcast. So I think that'll be a really lovely lineup. And the Belmont Bowling Club is also hosting us for the unforgettable Murder, She Got Wrote Off.
Yes.
The cult show. So it's back again, of course. I would get sacked if we didn't have that. And so we're going to be having the 2 nights, the Friday and Saturday night, will be hosted in the Belmont Bowling Club for the madness that is Murder, She Got Wrote Off. And finally, the Craiga Sports Club are also a new venue with us this year, and they're hosting 2 really lovely music events on a Friday and Saturday night. And one is the Wilgars, and then the second is the Grand Camaros with Mark Braedner. For any blues fans, they'll be very familiar with those bands. So again, a lovely night in a really great local club, and we're excited to be able to bring the festival out to those new venues.
If you want more information on anything we've talked about, anything in the festival, where can we go to for that?
Go to the website, which is eastsidearts.net, and all the information is there.
Brilliant. It's going to be another fabulous year. The very best of luck with it.
Thank you so much.
So there we go. That's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my guests. And join me again next week when I'll be having comedian and actor Omid Jalili will be with us on the show. To play us out, the brand new single from Derek Ryan. This is called Leave Her Johnny. And I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.
I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow you will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No bugger load and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Swore by rote for want of more. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. But now we're through, so we'll go on shore, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny.
founded on the principles of inclusivity, empowerment and positivity. I Am Beauty sponsors Robin Elliott Tonight.